Hello, Upper Sumus. It's Mr. C, Mr. Calder here, ready for your second directed drawing for Charlotte's Web. Today, we're doing Charlotte. Starting in the middle of the page, you want to draw two curved lines up, going to the right, and two curved lines up, going to the left. And then put a little top on each one, and then connect them in the middle. That. And then going on the other side, follow that line. Starting here, you go down, curve around, and under like that. And then this side, follow the line down and around and curve under all the way and curl up like that. Then you're going to add another curl here and another curl going this way, and then you have the top of Charlotte's hair. Now I left this one because her hair comes down a little bit to the side of her face. So we're going to draw the outline for her face. So you start here, come down, a little bit of a curvy point, up, around, and back, like that. Well, let's give her a smile. Now she's got some big, beautiful eyes. So starting on one side, you're going to do a curve up and then a curve underneath, like that. And then a little bump, half a circle in the middle. And then a little curve on the top, like that. Let's do the other eye. Go back on this side. Curve up and then down. And then the underside, you're going to curve down and then up. And a little bump, half circle underneath. And then add an eyelid, like that. Now she's got some pretty beautiful eyelashes, so we're going to add 3 eyelashes here. 1, 2, 3. And 3 eyelashes here. 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now let's move along. I'm going to draw a little bit of the second part of her body. So, starting near the bottom of the first antenna, I'm going to do a curve up and around and down, like that. And then follow that line on the other side of the antenna, going up and around and all the way down, and curve around underneath, like that. Now let's do the third part of her body. Start at the top of this curve, and you're going to go up, all the way up, a little bit of a point, and curve down, around, and back to there. And that is most of Charlotte's body. Okay. Now, let's get her legs in. The only two legs that are really tricky are the front ones. They're going to start, one of them is going to start here, curve down like that. Need time to get caught up. You can always pause the video if that's a bit too fast for you. The other side of her first leg, start a little bit up, curve down, and a little round like that. Now this part, you're going to make a curve from here all the way over to here. And you're going to touch the bottom of her chin. Here we go. Like that. And then you're going to follow that line underneath and then come to a point there. Curve up and around. It gets kind of skinny here, and then a little point there. Now her other leg is behind this one, so we're going to draw just a little bit of it on this side first. So a little bit of a dot there, and you're going to draw right to there and stop. And then another line underneath, a little bit of a point here, and it gets a little bit wider as you come in. Like that. Now this leg is going behind the other one, so we're going to start here, curl it down, and a little bit of an up. And then again follow that line, curl it down, and a little bit further, and up, like that. Now let's finish her front two legs. Go right up to here. This line is going to join there. Here we go. You could start here if you want. Come down and connect. And a little bit up. Follow that line. Come down and connect. And there's Charlotte leaning on her little short legs. Now, she's got more legs. How many legs does a spider have? Do you know? Let's find out. So let's start with her back legs. Start right about here. You're going to go up, make a point, and stop. And then you can come down all the way back to where you started, but a little bit lower, right there. And her other leg is a little line here because it's behind the antenna, right? And then keep going with that line, a little bend, and up to a point. Come back down here, follow that line, a little bend, and up to a point, like that. And another leg on the side, starting just about the top, middle of her hair, starting here, come out, a little bend, to a point. A little further down, follow that line, out, a little bend, and a point, like that. Now, we need to draw the legs on the other side. So about the same place on this side, a little bit up on the back part of her body. Starting here, you're going to go up, a little bend to a point. You can start at the point or start here, and we're going to follow that line, a little bend, and right back to her body. Alright, the next leg is going to be right next to this one. So we're going to start right about here, go out, a little bend up to a point, and then follow that line a little further down, a bend, and back to the body. One more leg. So have you figured out how many legs does a spider have? That's right, 8. Okay, starting about the middle of her second part of her body, you start here, go out, little bend to a point. Go a little further up, follow that line, a little bend down to a point. And there we have Charlotte. Let me move that up for you there. Now, spiders do have some hairy legs, so you could add just a little line here, a little line there, a little line out from the leg there, if you want to make a little bit of a hairy leg spider. And you can add, not too many, some hairs to Charlotte's legs. Sorry, ladies, but ladies, spiders have hairy legs. There we go. And there is Charlotte. Now, before we go to coloring, you can go over it with a Sharpie if you're using a pencil. Then erase your pencil marks. And you want to color in the antenna parts solid black. Like that. And this one. Now, if you had a wiggly line to start with, like I did, you can take the time now to smooth it out. It's a little difficult to draw and use the camera and all that at the same time. There we are. Now for coloring, here's my colored Charlotte. Right there. Doesn't that look cool? So from our line Charlotte to our colored Charlotte. And once again, to get the rounding effect, you're going to do some shading around the edges or some shadows. Let me show you. I've left a couple of legs that have no shading or no shadows, just to show you what I've done. So I've given the leg just a bit of a wash in gray, and then I've taken a bit of black and gone on the edge where the shadows would be. And when you're pressing on the edge, you're going to press a little harder, and then you lighten up, and then press harder. Then go up, down the other edge. lighter, harder, lighter, harder. Get down here, harder, lighter. Now because it's behind her body, I'm going to add a little more shadow in here. So once again, a little harder on the edge, and then lighter, harder, lighter, harder. Now her knee, if you like, there's going to be a bit of a light reflecting on her knee because it's bent. So I might leave that and go up here. Darker, push harder, lighter, harder, lighter, harder, all the way up. A little harder, lighter, harder. Kind of smooth it off as you go. You notice I'm getting any tiny little bit of white near the edge. Trying to cover that up. Gives a good strong shadow on the edge. Gives you a better effect of it looking more of a round leg. A little bit of a shadow here. And I'm leaving that little bit of light there to show the bend in her leg. Like so. And for her body, what I did again is I did a good wash of blue, and I used gray, light gray, I used dark gray, I used black, all kinds of different colors to get some shadowing in here, to get some shading. Now the difference between shading and shadowing, I'll show you. A little piece of paper here. If you have, let's say we just have a square or a cube, like that. The shadow is really all just kind of one color. That's just shadow. But if my cube is blue, like this side might be a little bit darker. If the shadow were to continue a little bit this way, let's say the shadow went both directions. That's more shadow. Shading is using the color of the item or the object and making it darker where the shadow is. Still using his shadow, but because it's blue, I don't really want to make it just gray. I want it the color of the object. And I could add a little bit of gray just to darken it. And the darker your shadow, let's say I added some black, not too much, you can still see some blue there. And if I added some black here, the darker your shadow, the stronger the light looks. The light that's coming this way. So it's just a little tip between shadows and shading. Shading is basically the shadows of the color of what you're drawing. So let's finish Charlotte's leg here. Hard, light, hard. Hard, light, pushing light and hard. Leaving the knee, pushing hard, light, hard. I could go all the way down with hard, but I kind of like to cross. Do light, hard, light, hard, hard on the edge, light in the middle, hard on the edge, light in the middle, hard on the edge, until we get all of the leg looking pretty good. Like that. And I'm just catching any white spots that I've left behind there. Oops. It happens. There we go. And there's Charlotte. Have fun, guys. See you next time.